Welcome to my leveling guide from level 1 to 21. First of all, I would like to say that this guide was originally made in German because I come from Germany and I thought it might be helpful to have it on English as well. I would like to apologize for my bad pronunciation. Maybe Germans are known for that. I don't know, maybe.
Nein, 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 nein!
Normally I play on my main character Disperia, but she has already reached level 22 with her gladiator that I switch on my twink Yoshitaru, who has the first 21 levels of Gladiator free for showing you the way of achieving them quickly. The starting time was at 0:50 AM. At first, try to equip you with a decent equipment set by getting the important pieces like weapons, chest pieces and leggings from the vendors inside of your starting area cities. For those of you doing it with preciseness, you can also buy yourself some accessories, but I think it mainly comes out as a gimmick. So mainly focus on the big parts and pieces of your gear like chests, leggings and weapons, and go for the stats your class is using. Ignore buying every single piece of rare quality gear from the auction house, because while spending your time doing this, you may already have reached level 21. The second reason is that you will spend a lot more gil on something that isn't worth the effort. Stay with the standard quality gear and keep an eye on the stats your class needs. For example, casters need intelligence, ranged fighters need agility, and tanks and melee fighters need strength. Another big deal are the leveling boost items, the friendship circlet and the Alarmigen earrings. And they give a flat experience bonus of 20% until level 25, the Alarmigen earrings give you a flat increase of 30% until level 50, and some stats. But more of that later. I highly recommend that you adjust the correct combat stance for your chocobo. Mine doesn't have any healing abilities, so I cease him onto focusing on assault. As a guideline, I would say go for mixed combat if the mob can deal you enough damage to kill you before he dies. Apart from that, stick to full assault combat, otherwise the chocobo casts regen and wastes many attacks, and you might not even profit from that regen while staying at the full health. Back to bonuses. Those of you who pre-ordered Stormblood are in the advantage of using the Alarmigen earrings. And the friendship circle is obtained by recruiting a friend. But don't be sad, they only grant you a bonus for the multiplier that counts all bonuses like free company buff, food buff and chaining the mobs together. And those bonuses are not a great advantage compared to the chaining experience of the mobs. Furthermore, my guide mainly focuses on doing leaf quests and fates while completing your class specific hunting log. As you can see in the video, while assessing the abilities and strength of your class and maybe astonishing the cool looks of your spells and abilities, you incidentally reach level 3 or 4 or even a higher level. The reason for buying only the easy vendor gear shows clearly the fast process of increasing your class level. And if you bought the high quality stuff for every step of level, you waste the time and the gil, because in the next minute you have reached a further level. After that, when you tuned everything up, try to set aim to your leveling goals and look around you and open the map if you can find the first fates or where you think your hunting log targets are located. The fate was a difficult combat because the enemy dealt too much damage to keep up a fair head-to-head combat, so I gambled a bit and dragged a healing potion into my action bar. But even that was not enough. She hit so hard that I would not survive the cooldown of the potion. I made up my mind and came up with this strategy.
Fools.
And if you then see your chance of striking back, do it. Evaluate if it's worth the effort or directly leave out those awkward fates. Optimize your equipment afterwards, but don't do the same mistake as I did and unequip the friendship circuit by auto-optimizing your gear via the new optimizing function. When finished, keep back of tracking what's happening around yourself, hunting log mobs or fates. Fortunately, I found a fate that also involved enemies from my hunting log, so I could deal with 2 birds with 1 stone. And remember that fates where you have to kill a pack of mobs always rewards you with some bonus XP in addition to the normal completion reward. Beyond that, use your multitasking skills and let your eyes track your environment while dealing with the fate and try to plan your next step for afterwards. After that, I attended to switching areas and kept tracking hunting mobs inside Western Thanalan, where also lucrative fates frequently spawn. Don't fear the level difference between you and the Fate, because the mobs you are dealing with always are frequently lower level than the Fate level range pretends. Thus, not completing the Fate with a golden rating, a silver or even a bronze rating will get you a good amount of experience reward. It's always worth the effort, as long as you don't start at 10 minutes and know that you won't do the Fate in time. This case would be a big waste of time and energy. If you walk from Fate to Fate, you will commonly be able to find your hunting log targets in the process. Also, don't forget to apply your new learned abilities to your action bar. To get you some facts, I needed round about 2 hours for this leveling step, and I would say it's not excessively fast, but also not intemperately slow. So you will doubtlessly end up with nearly the same time completing this, even if you're fairly new to the game. And that's really some good news. For all those people who are wondering where I plan to advise doing the main scenario questline, this guide is completely made for leveling a second class. Some of its aspects and hints can also be applied to the leveling of a first class, but for those of you who are in that position, my general advice is to doing the main scenario quest. Because you won't progress into the max level content unless you have solved the story with and around the Warrior of Light, and all the obstacles he has to clear out of the way and cries he has to overcome. Besides, it's absolutely recommended to enjoy the storyline, because it's the essence of every Final Fantasy game, and Final Fantasy XIV is definitely not an exception. When doing the main scenario quest is not sufficient enough, you can do all the steps given by my guide until you are able to continue on with the story. But back to our second job leveler. Yes, you can have all jobs and classes on one character. How awesome can something like that be? However, beyond all that promotion of Final Fantasy XIV, I would like to focus back on our tasks. As our character reached level 13 or higher while killing some crabs, killing some dragon-like lizards in some low-level fates, you will be killing the last packs of your hunting log targets inside the starting areas, while switching from fate to fate or area to area. And in the case of a mighty gladiator like Yoshitaru, it's his task laying big turtles to sleep. And with that, you're finally done with the starting area, and will be something around level 14. At this point you are able and recommended to stick to a higher area, like in my case the Eastern Thanalan, where the level 15 plus hunting log targets are located, and also fates in the level range of level 15 to level 18 will spawn. After that, try finding the location of the highest mob of your hunting log, that always is level 20. This can be quite a difficult encounter when you don't have a chocobo with healing abilities or a tank class, so be careful and creative. If you're finally done with your hunting log, you will have to switch from fate to fate the next levels. I would recommend Eastern Thanalan, Western Lanacea and East Shroud, because of the high frequency of fates that are spawning at adequate level range. Don't forget to do fates that already begun, for looting at least some experience points. For this fate especially, ignore those dodos and focus on destroying their lairs. It should be no big problem for most jobs, because those dodos don't deal a large amount of damage to you, while you kill those lairs very fast, when not much people strive the area. Except maybe the Black Mage. Unfortunately, even my endurance diminished due to the late hour I was playing and the constant repetition of the same fates. I choose to do the dually roulette leveling, which turned out to be a big lucky strike, granting me 3 levels total. When doing dungeons, your most important goal is to evaluate a speed of doing it where your party feels comfortable with. Especially as a tank role, try to find the balance between big pulls and safe small pulls, and watch your group composition to determine whether a big pull makes sense when having much AoE abilities, or if you have only melees where a large pull only makes the healer's job more complicated. Like you can see, I get a vast amount of experience points as a consequence of the Alamigan earrings, the friendship circlet, and mostly because I got a rested bonus from resting inside a calm zone like cities and private residences. The best advantage you can receive from a dungeon is to do it when you are at the exact minimum level requirement for it, so that you can chain those enemies, which means increasing the multiplier for the experience points rewarded by killing enemies quickly in succession. In particular, those low-level dungeons hold a high chance that people join your group who are completely beginners. And as my advice, try to emphasize their motivation for the game as best as you can, and make their maybe first dungeon to an experience where they think, hey, that game is quite fun, and there really are some nice people around. I think it's the same way you would like to be welcomed when starting a new game, and that should be promoted to you and by you as well. Next to that, take yourself the time to explain difficult strategies that have the potential to wipe your group and to ruin that emphasis for playing the game, like I mentioned before. As an example, this slime guy really has the potential, and writing something like "Don't attack the bomb" can really spare you a lot of time. If you don't feel the need of explaining by analyzing the playstyle of your groupmates, then just relax during the dungeon and try not falling asleep when playing late at night time. Another small boost you can get at level 15 in Limsa Lominsa is the challenge log, where you are able to do some weekly tasks that will reward you bonus experience points. For example, doing 5 dungeons or doing 10 fates in different areas, giving recommendations to other players, or killing enemies with your chocobo, which is the only useful way of leveling the yellow bird. The challenge log can be unlocked by doing a quest, which I will link into the description. And finally, after dealing with that ancient Greek Tauren guy, we have finally reached our goal, which is level 21. The ending time was 2:44 AM, and so I required barely 2 hours for level 1 to level 21. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next part. Take care!